thumb's right here. Push the hand in, lock it out, throw it through. Okay? Now we get triangle control. So one arm's in, one arm's out. All right? The thing that we get when we get here is that we need to make sure that we're trying to take our heels and pull him through his back and drive our hips up. And don't let your hips be lazy here or he's going to swim an arm back in and all that's going to be lost. Okay, so now the battle like becomes here. And if the opponent's big, we have to maintain them and we're trying to pull them in and control their posture. Another big factor too is framing on our knees. Okay, so if Brandon starts cutting one angle or the other or tries to collapse my legs, I want to make sure that I'm flaring my elbows out, right? And I'm not allowing him to smash my knees. Because if he can get my knees to the mat, like it's going to be a lot harder for me to maintain this position. So just a little active thing that I like to do is put your opponent in this kind of like triangle control and don't try to finish them, try to maintain this the whole time and not let your legs get smashed. So just remember, framing on the side here, framing in the front where he can't drive my knees to my face allows me to maintain the position, right? I want to make sure that I maintain the position, control this just like it's a closed guard. Then I want to start looking at how to do the finish, okay? Like of course, if I can get the arm across, that's going to help huge. But 90% of people are never going to let the arm come across. So then we have to figure out how to feed the arm across without feeding the arm across. Okay, so first, get the triangle control, do the frames on the outside and don't let them collapse your hips, right? Step one. Next one is, now I want to figure out how to push this arm across without opening my legs, okay? What I like to do is I like to have this hand come under and start grabbing the arm that's out. Make sense? Then I want to turn my knee so that it actually forces. I want this thigh to force his arm across for me so that I don't have to do the work myself. So many people sit here and they battle this arm trying to get across to get the finish, and all I want my knee to do is push the arm across for me. Do you see how that angle cuts? Okay, so I want you guys to work on this because this takes a little bit of work, but you have to know how to get your hip into the right place, right? I've done all my framing, everything. Now I'm going to underhook and grab here or grab anywhere if it's no-gi. And then I'm going to just lightly TP my legs up and I'm going to shift my hips and see how now that arm is stuck in there the right way. And then I'm going to drop down here and you're going to get this finished really quick. Does that make sense? So think about just starting with that. Framing here, not letting the people stack and close your legs. Underhook the arm that's correct on this side. I want to be looking at his ear, right? Up, up, switch. When I'm grabbing the shin, I want to be grabbing here, right? So don't unlock your triangle. Take your knee, turn it, push it in, drop. Even if that arm's across here, it won't matter. Okay, so work on that finish first, and then we'll work on like a bunch of more concepts on how they defend through that. So we gotta figure out how to get this position out right now. And the cool thing to this is if you're strong enough and your legs are right, you can still do the exact same thing, I was gonna say, which sucks. So like I can still bury this and then like get this here and then still get that to start to squeeze and get the finish. But let's say we can't. So what I want to do is I want to immediately switch my triangles. So I'm going to pull on his head and then the triangle, remember the one that's always by his ear is the one that's going to be on the bottom. Okay, so I want to switch that and I'm going to take this foot and I'm going to turn it this way and then I'm going to lock this in here. Perfect, it's going to be sitting right there in that trap and that's going to really be uncomfortable for them. Okay, now I think it could be anywhere and it might be okay, but the way that I want to get this arm out is I want to lift my hips up. So I want to do this, right? Which makes it really hard, even if he's connecting to his hands, for him to still hide those hands. So now this comes under this way and it clamps onto his wrist, right? So then I'm going to start to bring him down this way and then I'm going to start pulling this under until I get my gable grip here. And then from here, I'm just going to rip the arm out. You can also still try to like straight arm bar here, right? Is that uncomfortable?
It's pretty tight.
Right? And then even if they get the arm across, which is what they want to do, then you're gonna lock it right into the traditional one with the arm across like you wanted.
That straight arm bar
I felt your body start to panic. It's always funny when you touch submissions the right way, you get people to like, oh. All right, we're here. He's buried this arm. Whatever the case is, we can't move him. We can't get the angles. So now all I want to do is I want to switch to the reverse triangle. I will still block here so he can't collapse my hips down. And then I'm going to lock this in. Right? So now I want to lift my body up so that I can come under here and go right at his wrist. Connect, 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 feed, gable grip. And then, yeah, I want to slip it through. And then I want to like wrench the crap out of that, right? So, and a lot of times I'll get like the no-handed Kimura finish right here, or I'll bury for the finish, or he'll start to straighten it, and then I'll start to get the straight arm bar right here, or I'll just let it pass right by, and then I'll cut this angle, and then I'll go to this side here. So, like 3 submissions there the whole time, which should just make them completely uncomfortable, the whole process of them doing that. I'm here, I'm basing right here, I'll be pulling on his head, right? I'll cut the angle. So, but you gotta remember too, like this is a good position too. This isn't a bad position if you get stuck here like this and he ducks it or whatever the case is. You just gotta make sure that you keep the pressure on his shoulder so that he can't stack you. Or like I can't let him get his head up and cut the angle, right? So if he does somehow dip that out, you just have to make sure that you're pinching here and here, because here's what you're doing is you're pushing that away, and then you're gonna be switching to the omo.
Kind of make you put that back. Whenever I get a pack. It kind of makes me want to put this back over, and then you can just go right back to the triangle.
Yeah, so if you do connect or connect like this, and then again, lock in, and then switch the hips. So, but try to keep your core, don't ever let your butt come to the ground. Try to keep your hips up the whole time so you're staying engaged. Like right now, sitting out. So the only thing if they sit out, then I'm just gonna go to the omoplata, right? Is that what you're thinking? Or so if they go here, a lot of times, like it's weird, but I know a lot of people don't do this enough, but I like to put the foot on the person's head and push them away, no matter what the case is, and then I just make sure that they can't get this arm back in front of me. Even if they do forward roll, just make sure that you keep pinching the knees and control that. Like then they can't come up into you. So if he forward rolls, right? If I pinch the knees, he can't come up. So, and then you can just keep dumping him here and then keep going on the arm bar.